Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts with another boxing, another offline product gamer review. This is They Are Billions for the PlayStation 4. Let's jump right into it. This physical copy here was just the base vanilla version of the game, so the on-disc version was 1.0. Now sadly there was an update available, but oddly enough and thankfully enough, the update wasn't very big. It was only 84 megabytes big and will take you to version 1.03 since the time I'm making this video. Now the update only said it was just stability fixes as well as string fixes. Not entirely sure what they mean by that, but I did check that update and played a little around with it, and I didn't notice anything different in terms of the main menu, or any modes or options menu, or anything added to the overall experience, so I'll take their word for it that it was just stability fixes to the overall experience of the game. Now, this is a Japan import physical copy. From my knowledge, this is the only way to get a physical copy of the They Are Billions, is importing the Japan version. Now, the game does fully support full English menus, English subtitles, as well as English voice acting. So the whole experience can be played fully in English, which is, again, extremely nice, but also very odd why you would not release it more available worldwide. But thankfully, there is a physical copy out there. Now, They Are Billions, I did play the majority of the game. I cannot claim I did beat the game, sadly. But I did play a majority of the game, and I did do a couple survival challenges and stuff like that. So I did play a good portion of the entire game. Now, there's reasons why I didn't complete it, and I'll go into that. But if you don't know, They Are Billions is a RTS. It's kind of a strategy game. You make your bases, you build up units, you try to survive hordes of enemies to attack you. And that's just zombies. And the screen could be covered in zombies. And it's the main point of the game. They Are Billions. Well, the game takes place in a great distant future where scientists created some bioweapon or something like that and destroyed the entire human race. And now you're the last remnants of the human race on a crater city, and therefore you're trying to branch out from this crater city and make a new colonization. Now, at the beginning of the game, you can choose between which hero you want to choose, or general, if you will, and you can choose between the male or female, and each one has their beneficial factors. I recommend for your first time playing, I do recommend playing as the male, the guy, as he's more of just a sniper tank, and as well as that when you do specific missions with this character, you can unlock more abilities or get that person level up. Well, the game just basically evolves around you getting research, and as well as hero points, as well as your campaign points, if you will, in terms of the campaign mode in the game. Now, there's only three kinds of style of games. You have your typical and generic RTS, where you try to build up a base, get resources, try to survive the hordes of enemies of waves of zombies. As well as you have another mode where you play as general, your chosen character, and it plays more like a mission-based system, where you control just that one character, and you go through a factory or a hospital, and you try to gather research and data to help you through your campaign, and once you complete that mission, your main character levels up. As well as you have another missions that can pop up, where it's like a tower defense almost, where you have one tower and you gotta place a bunch of named barricades and stuff like that to survive hordes and hordes of zombies to attack you. And that's pretty much your straightforward experience. You do have survival mode, which is pretty much the normal RTS mode, but it does change things up a little bit. You no longer have a train that comes and deliver resources or drop off people. Once you build a house in the survival mode, you instantly get people, as well as you have mayors in survival mode, where you choose a mayor that after a certain amount of population, you choose a mayor, and each mayor has a different ability or stats or something like that they add to your colonization. And generally in survival mode, you try to survive as long as you can, whether your presets. And that's pretty much your entire experience of the game. Now, the game overall is a challenging and a rewarding, and as well as that, to point out about the console port of the game, it's a very well done console port. I personally thought this was really done for an RTS. The game does allow you to choose between two kind of cursor modes. You have one cursor, which is the beginning default, where it's like a little orb circle thing, and this allows you to be able to navigate the screen just like your normal cursor, as well as if you move that cursor below your HUD screen, it disappears, which is good, but it also has a bit of problems with it. The way to be able to select multiple people with the circle HUD thing, you have to hold the X button, which can be kind of finicky at times. And sometimes when you expand it enough, it doesn't really grab all the units, and sometimes can accidentally just grab the building, which isn't very good in my opinion. Thankfully, you can go to the settings and set the settings to a typical generic mouse, and I think this works a lot better. I think you'll have a lot more better time if you set this game setting to the typical mouse, with just control with the joystick. They add a lot of features and contents to make the experience more streamlined for a controller. Like you can hit square, which will immediately take you to your HUD, as well as that you can have like L1 and R1. You can pick slot 1, slot 2, and slot 3. You can set different kind of groups of characters you can immediately select. They did a lot of stuff that was very well done. And graphically, I think this is a very pretty looking game. I love the graphic style of the game. I like the atmosphere and the environments. Generally, overall, huge praise to everything that these developers did with this game. I would give They Are Billions a highly recommendation if you were into RTSs. There's just two big griping problems, to the point where it actually completely kills the game. And these are not that big of a deal depending on how you view yourself as a gamer. But the game has a problem where, if you don't know what Iron Man mode is, Iron Man mode in games is generally when you play it on Iron Man mode, there is no saving. There is no kind of backup saves or anything like that. It's just an automatic auto save, and if you mess up or you die, you have to deal with that loss. Well, this game is automatically set in Iron Man mode. There's no other way to play this game unless it's Iron Man mode. And what they do is that when you're in a mission or in a campaign like I am currently and you see the video, let's say I lose or I made one little mistake and I want to reload and try to fix that. Well, you can't do that. So if you're hours on in within in your campaign mode with this little fight here and this little skirmish, if you lose, you have to do that mission all over again. So that could be hours and hours of time wasted in an instant because of one little mistake. Now, this isn't me being upset that the game is difficult. Actually, I wanted to make this game even harder on myself, but due to the fact that I could not risk any potential of chance of losing hours and hours of time of my life because of one mistake, I had to set this game on the easiest difficulty, which basically reduces the amount of zombies on the map and how big the hordes attack you each time of the wave. And that affected my experience. It got so tedious just trying to get through the game, doing the same stuff over and over, and having that one zombie come in, somehow get in your village that you didn't see, ruin your entire time, and you just lost an hour and a half, maybe an hour of your time. It's very, very frustrating. Again, I don't mind an Iron Man mode. That's perfectly fine. I do believe that if you are someone who's experienced at games, you can try to play games in a higher difficulty. I just don't understand what benefit there is to not having the ability where people can save their games for when they feel like playing or need to reload it because of one mistake. The game does auto-save. It does kind of an auto-save system. I think it does every 15 or 20 minutes. I'm not really sure. It's kind of inconsistent, to be honest. I think it has to do with maybe how close the next horde it's going to attack. But anyway, that autosave is just basically a backup in case power went out or you had to immediately drop your game and quit it and go do some emergency and come back. It'll reload you back where you in that level. But if you lose or you die or you need to change something, there is no reloading that. So that's for your taste and how you want to play your game. As well as that, one of my biggest gripe is that the game has a time limit. So every mission, not the beginning missions, but later on missions, every mission will have a time limit of days. And if you do not beat the requirements, you instantly lose. Sometimes you can have try to survive, you have 92 days. And if you go past 92 days, you lose. Now this isn't a problem on easier difficulties. I never at one point had any problem with time limit, but on higher difficulties, you have less time. So not only have bigger hordes, you also have less time. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not asking to make the game easier. I just don't understand why you have to force these kind of mandates on against players. I'm not for the idea of get good. I'm a professional gamer. I love video games. I'm a veteran gamer. I play games on really high difficulties and all this stuff. I just don't... Sometimes I just like to play a relaxing game. It's not about just trying to be the best. So I don't agree with these designs, and it borderline makes me say that it may not be worth for some people's time just because of this. I don't understand this whole gatekeeping gaming where you try to say that if you don't play this game, you don't, in this way, you're not a real gamer, or this is the only real way to play this game. I don't agree with that. Provide options for people that play the way they feel most comfortable with. There's nothing wrong with that, and it does not affect your core design of your game, nor does it affect people who want to play games harder and a higher difficulty. Provide options. Options are never a bad thing in your games. But overall, those two big gripes are the only other things I've experienced in terms of mechanically. Sadly, my experience wasn't perfect. The game has a lot of graphical glitches where you will see like flickering and things, distortion and stuff like that. It didn't happen too much in my video here when I was recording it, but I mean, it had a lot of distortion graphics, and you'll see it when you play it. It's really quick. It didn't affect gameplay, but it was annoying at certain moments, as well as that sadly the game kept crashing on me. The game constantly crashed. I was trying to keep count of it. It's well over 10. I know that for a fact. But oddly enough, it only ever crashed when I was loading a level. I never once had it crash when I was playing a match. And I'm talking about like hours on end. So I never had it crash on me during that, but only when I was loading up a next level. I don't know if it has something to do with the graphics. When it loads up the graphics, it causes the console to crash. But it is something to be noteworthy. I was still unlocking trophies completely off of an unregistered account, so that was really good. But again, it is a great game. I think even with those crashes, I was still having a good time. It wasn't the crashes or the little graphical bug flickers that was ruining my experience. It was literally the game developers, the narrow-minded and narrow outlook in game design, where you had to purposely design it to be very unfairly punishing. And don't get me wrong, again, I know people are going to go up there and try to say you want games to be super easy. I'm not asking that. I'm just asking to allow people play the way they want to play their games. I know I'm kind of ranting now, but it just disappoints me because there was a lot of potential in this game, and I definitely probably would have beaten it, but I've just gotten so tired and so bored with it. Playing it on the easiest difficulty, just trying to get through it. I don't know. This was actually ended up being too long of a video. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to get that out of there. I still recommend the game, though. I actually still recommend the game to have it on your shelf and check it out if you're into RTSs and for physical copy support of this kind of game, especially on PlayStation 4. So, thank you all so much for watching. I will try to leave links down in the description. Again, it is an import-only physical copy, so I don't know how you're going to be able to get it and everything like that. But in my opinion, it's still well worth take your time to check it out. Maybe you disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. I'm not saying that I'm right, you're wrong. I just don't understand gatekeeping gaming. I don't understand that mindset. I want everyone to play video games, because you know why? I love video games. I want everyone to play how they want to play it. So, again, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!